Welcome to Food, Wine, and Whiskey, a podcast about having fun conversations on tasty dishes, vinos, and spirits from around the world. Rob is your host. He is an avid home chef, WSET Level 2 award in wine, and a whiskey drinker and collector. Time to set the table. Here's Rob.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. As you can see by the title today, going to be a fun episode. And for this top five in our series, it's obviously the chip. Notice I didn't say the potato chip because I get some pushback when I say potato chip. That kind of pigeonholes you a little bit. But the podcast this week for this episode, on the road in mid-Missouri, back to my old stomping grounds. And three of what I would call family members are on the show with me. We've got the Ford boys. We've got Darin Ford. How you doing, Darin?
Good, Rob.
And Tony Ford.
Doing great, Rob.
Boy, that's doing great, Rob. You're not nervous, are you, Tony?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then we got, what do you go by? What do these young guys go by? You G-Dog, you G, you Garrison, Gary?
Usually Gary.
Just Gary Ford?
Gary, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
G,
got,
but the G-Man.
Yeah.
but the G-Man.
I
Okay.
think that's probably what
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, you guys, what we're doing today is obviously by the title of the episode, top five chips. So bags of chips, anything that comes in a bag in that chip aisle that you can munch on and put with a sandwich or whatever is fair game in this episode. So, give me some thoughts on the chip in general. Well, let me start here first. I need to do a better job of introducing you guys. You guys are really good friends, almost like family to me for a long time, but all three of you related. We've got Tony and Darin, who are brothers, separated by, almost 2.5 years, something like that? 3.5 years. And then Garrison is Tony's son. And we are bringing G in for this because he brings a different perspective. We feel like us three, being in our late 30s, are going to nobody.
Love it. Love it, Rob.
I appreciate that, Rob.
They're going
Truly
to go
do
with
appreciate that.
We're going to have maybe a class. I'm assuming, maybe not. Maybe you guys are going to shock me a little bit, but I think the classics might stand out in our list. And I'm just making a guess. Maybe I'm giving a little bit away about my potential list. But I think Gary might shock us with what a younger guy. How old are you, Gary?
21.
21. What he might bring to the table as far as top five chips for a 21-year-old munching on things in today's world. So we'll see.
We will.
Potato chips. Like them, can take them, leave them, love them with the sandwich, eat them with a burger. Where do they rank?
So, for me, personally, I can't hardly eat a sandwich if I don't have chips in the house.
Okay.
You can ask my wife this. It's almost, I might pass on a sandwich if there's not a bag of chips. So I'm a big chip fan, but I'm not a sit down typically and just munch
While
on
you're
chips.
watching
I
a
like
movie
them
or
with my
something.
sandwich. I'm not typically a guy that
You can't have chips without a sandwich.
man, I'll eat them, and there's some. I've evolved a lot.
Okay.
I'll be 58 years old tomorrow. I've evolved a lot on my chip selection. So I think my list is going to illustrate that.
Okay. Tony?
Well, I'm a lot like Darin. I'm going to have a cold cut sandwich, especially like lunchtime. Have to have chips.
Burger?
Not so much with a burger.
Yeah.
I can eat a burger.
But you'll take chips with burger?
Oh, yeah. Usually, burgers and chips don't really mix with me. 'Cause,
Really?
if
See,
I'm
I
eating a
don't
burger,
mind.
it's like I'm going through McDonald's and I'm going to get fries.
No, I'd hold up with I gotta have it. That I would include that in the sandwich.
The burger.
Yes.
I
The
would
burger,
too.
yeah.
Because there's times that, you're making a burger. A burger sounds good, but like, man, I don't want to mess with fries. But a good bag of chips would be just fine for me. Not for you.
Not so much for a burger, no.
Okay. G, where do you stand on the chip?
I think I probably like them a little too much.
Okay.
Get home from work, sit down on the couch with a little bag of chips to snack on, and next thing I know, the bag's empty. And I'm not eating dinner because I just ate a whole bag of chips. So,
Well, the thing about me for chips, too, is for me to eat a chips, I have to have a nice cold soda.
You got to have soda.
To wash it down.
Okay. Soda
Yeah,
of
I'm kind of
choice. Does it matter? Is it
Well,
fits?
anything that's not diet.
Okay, I like how you roll. I agree. If you're going to have
But,
chips, why would you have a Diet Coke?
Right, yeah. But my main, I'm a healthy guy. My favorite's Mountain Dew. So
Yeah, that's a healthy beverage. Yeah, that'll wake you up in the
my
morning.
morning coffee.
Absolutely.
A friend of mine, Dave Scott, who's been on the show a few times, that's his beverage of choice with breakfast every morning.
Yeah.
So no coffee, no milk, no OJ.
Sometimes I
That's
skip the
stomach.
coffee,
Dude.
go right to the,
to the Mountain Dew.
hit the big styrofoam cup at Casey's, and off we go to work.
Let me ask you guys, for you guys, how important or do you like the addition of a dip with a chip? Does that elevate a chip if I have a dip?
So one of the chips on my list would not be on my list without the assist
Okay.
of a dip.
So
The two together, and I don't know if that's breaking the rules, but when I really thought it over, it made the list. It would not have made the list alone.
okay, and I think it's making the list, but you're going to just add to the commentary of why it's on there is because of its whatever with the dip.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I could go a couple different ways of what I think that chip might be. Because when you add dips in, you can get to some things that
Yeah.
could elevate a chip
Yeah,
a
but
little
there's
bit.
basically one dip, right? For a potato chip. It's number one.
Well, I don't know. We'll have that conversation. Depends on what
Okay.
part. Texans might have one dip, and it might be different.
Okay, well,
Because my first thought was, well, I'm not even going to say it. So, all right. Well, let's do this. Let's jump in. Is anybody wants to bat lead off and start with their list?
I got most of my chips here, so
You want to
I'll
lead us
start
off? The young guy, Gary.
starting at 5.
Starting at 5. We're going to go number 5 down to number 1, revealing your favorite chip. First, let me ask you this. How tough was it? I find when I do my top 5 series, 1 and 2 in that position, typically pretty easy. I've got a couple favorites that are go-tos that I just buy and whatever it might be.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, I might have a list of 6, 8 other in that category that I go, okay, which ones do I really want to round out my top 5 with? Did you have that struggle?
I did. I just went to Pringer's or the grocery store in town. And last week, I probably bought about 10 bags just trying to figure out which one I would put in my top 5 and which one I wouldn't. And then, so the elimination process was kind of tough there. But
Okay.
I think I got it well rounded out now. So
Okay, so we're going to all reveal our top 5, then we'll come back through with some honorable mentions and see what we got. So what do you have in the 5 hole?
the 5 hole, I have Lay's Poppables,
Okay.
sea salt flavored.
Okay.
It's a very modern selection.
So what about this chip do you like? What puts it there for you? Why did it make your top 5?
Well, I do like the sea salt flavoring. That's one thing, and they're kind of just extra crunchy. They're kind of fun to eat.
they are good.
They are, yeah.
The thing I would say, too, when you mentioned earlier you can sit on the couch and eat a whole bag of those poppables aren't hard to get down pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Especially with the soda.
There's a man down at the other end of the table
He
that likes
his
his
Mountain
soda.
Dew. He likes his Mountain Dew.
Okay, 5, you've got the poppables.
5, I got the Poppables. My 4 spot, I got Pizza Pringles.
Pizza Pringles. Okay.
The 3 spot, I have Cheddar Jalapeno Crunchy Cheetos.
Okay.
In the 2 spot, I got Spicy Sweet Chili Doritos, the purple bag.
Wow.
Okay.
And then my number 1 are New Orleans style voodoo chips.
New Orleans style voodoo chips. You don't have a bag of those.
I don't.
Where do those? I've never seen or
Are
heard
those
of
the
these.
kind that are kind of rolled up?
Are they like
they're kettle?
Takis?
They're kettle.
Takis,
Oh, they're
yeah.
kettle.
They're kettle cooked chips, and I had them when I was in Virginia Beach visiting a buddy, and
Kind of twisted up.
and man,
I've
went
never
through
heard of
some
those. Have you
bags.
heard of these? Are they spicy when you say New Orleans?
they're pretty sweet and spicy.
Okay.
They got a little kick to them, but
Never heard of them. Are you can find them? You think most places, most big cities, most big markets?
yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Okay. Guys,
Interesting.
Kind of like a little spice to your
I do.
The palate, his palate
those
is
surprised me. That's my
drawn
son
to
there.
some
And
spice.
a lot of those surprised me.
Not a big spicy guy, but when I got spicy chips, it's not quite. Spicy isn't really quite there because as you're eating them, it's not really catching until you stop eating.
Yeah, you get a little numb and you
Yeah.
can just kind of put them away until
Yeah.
Boys, his list.
I
Thoughts
tell
on-
you,
any issues with this list?
I don't have any issues, but I will say we did not match on the single thing.
No, me either. And as I look at his, I mean, not a lot of classics there.
No.
Yeah, and that was
Which I like. I
went-
mean,
yeah.
I'm going to look at his list. I'm probably going to go try them all.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, this is kind of what I thought might happen bringing in a guy at his age bracket, 21 years old. I think these are things that are enjoyed greatly by guys his age. I don't know that I've ever had one of these chips.
Gee, I'm going to be trying them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you a run and see what I think.
I've had the cheddar jalapeno.
Have you
Cheetos.
tried those?
Yeah, those are delicious.
Now, I will say, brands that you have on the table, they're in my list. It's your flavor
Yeah,
profile that's
He
thrown me
went a little
bit.
deeper into the flavors than I did on my list.
The only one that shocks me a little bit or surprised me, well, there's two. The New Orleans one, just because I've never heard of it. Doesn't shock me. I just don't know anything about it. Ones that I know about that made my list that aren't anything to do with flavor, the Poppables. I'm a little surprised that made a list just from the standpoint of, like I said, I can eat so many of them, and I feel like I just
Yeah.
haven't eaten any of them. I eat a whole bag and feel like I didn't eat anything.
Yeah.
And they're just so light.
And they're fun to eat too.
They are.
Yeah,
They really are,
That-
yeah.
yeah.
Who wants to go in the 2-hole? All right, Tony's going to jump into the 2-hole
Okay.
That's what she said.
and have a little fun. So go ahead.
Okay. Number 5 on the list is the Cheez-It.
The Cheez-It.
The Cheez-It.
Okay, I might have a little pushback
might
here.
throw a flag.
I might throw a little flag here. Is
Okay.
that actually on the chip aisle? Or
You
is that
said
a cracker?
anything in a chip or
in the chips
bag.
aisle?
They're all over the place.
Or is that fly
I think
with
we
you?
can give it to him.
We give it to
I
him?
do, but
Let's
I
let him
totally
ride with
forgot it.
Let's let him explain
about it.
himself.
Okay, go ahead and explain yourself because I'm not
Hold
disagreeing
on now.
that it's a good. I don't call that a chip. I call that more of a cracker.
Cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that in the cracker aisle.
I was under the impression that anything in the chip aisle,
Yeah.
which is right there by all the other chips.
Is it
When
in
you
the
go,
chip
the
aisle?
little bags, they're right there, man. They
Okay,
are right
all right,
there.
we're gonna let it go.
Cheez-It.
He's pulling the flag.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Do I need to come
Challenge
up with
flag.
another one?
There is no penalty on this play. Go right ahead, Tony.
Okay. Well, that makes me worried about my number 4 selection then.
What'd you go? Oreos?
Chili cheese frito.
Oh, I think that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a chip.
Yeah.
absolutely a chip.
Chili cheese frito. At
You're
number
back on the
4.
road, buddy.
Okay. My number 3.
Now, give me a little background on these. What,
Okay,
what do
so-
they? Why do they make the list?
That came to me when I was playing basketball in college.
Okay.
And for some reason, I just loved those things and would just eat bags of them for some reason. When we travel and stuff, I just grab them and I don't know. I like
So when you saw that variety,
and I like to put them in my chili.
Chili.
yeah,
Ooh,
chili's
yeah.
the play
So-
there. That's what.
Yeah.
When you saw that variety pack, is that the chip you grabbed for when there was like,
Oh, for sure.
You were the first one to get
I
those
get the
chili cheese.
Yeah.
Man,
I
you can
like
get
those.
to rolling on those things.
Oh.
You start
And
popping
once
those
again,
things in your
man,
mouth, you can roll.
soda.
So was I the only one that small bag just wasn't enough? You had to have at least 3 when you reached in that variety pack.
Got to have the box.
the box. Okay. What about the Cheez-It? Why does that make your list? What are you eating? That a sandwich? That go with the sandwich?
It goes great with chili.
The Cheez-It.
Crumble those up in chili. It's amazing. Have you
Okay.
ever tried it?
No, but I usually don't. I'm a big sandwich chaser with the chips, but I'm not sure I'm throwing crackers in my mouth.
That's not a cracker.
I still call it a cracker too.
You guys
But we're letting
need
it go.
to eat a few cheeses.
Hey, we picked the flag up. You're good.
Okay.
Okay. So we got Cheez-Its, we got chili cheese Fritos.
Fritos.
Okay.
And then number 3 on my list is the Pringles.
Which one?
Well,
You got to be specific. You
okay.
can't
I will
have the whole
go just
category.
regular.
Okay.
But man, the sour cream and onion and the
Well, I thought you just went
cheddar.
What
They're
is,
great.
Do you have to call
Yeah, you do.
a flavor?
Sure, you do. That is a different.
That's the impression I was under.
Yeah.
That's why I got my weird flavors.
Otherwise, you can just go. You know,
that's the only one
I
that
like
I haven't.
potato chips.
That's the only one that I haven't called a specific flavor on, because to me those three are like on the even.
But that's what makes these
so
lists.
It would have been like my
hard.
3, 4, and 5.
But you could do that. That's your list.
Yeah, but that's boring, Robbie.
Well, but that's
Who
what
was-
makes this hard. We always talk about when we make our top fives. If it were just easy, it'd be no fun. It's making you have to make a call. You have to.
Okay, I
plug
will
something
go
in.
original Pringles.
All right, original Pringles in the 3-hole.
3-0.
What are you going to jam in the 2-hole?
That's what she said.
2-hole hasn't even been mentioned yet. The nacho cheese Doritos.
Okay, solid.
I remember the first time I had those. When
Yeah.
they first came out.
I
They
mean,
were.
seriously.
They were groundbreaking.
Okay.
I don't think I'd ever eaten anything like that before.
I am just so far. I thought a lot of overlap would happen when we got to you. I can just tell you, I haven't revealed mine yet, but not a lot on mine so far. How are you looking, D, with his list? A lot of overlap. Okay, this is interesting. Okay,
Yeah, and I'm quite certain you guys will not have my number 1. Which
you've been certain of this all week.
Yes.
You've been calling this that
Calling
nobody
it.
will
Nobody's
even have it
gonna
on their
know.
list.
It's the Muncho.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the
Oh,
Muncho?
absolutely. Red bag. It was usually a gas station buy for me because a lot of grocery stores don't
Absolutely.
carry them anymore.
You
And when
buy-
Go ahead, Darin.
You buy those with a Coke, man. You can F those out.
That's right, man. They are gone.
When I think
That's like my driving.
Did I get number 2, though? I had.
2 is his Doritos,
To
Okay, what was 3 then?
Pringles plain.
Okay. Then I missed 4.
4 was his chili
Chili
cheese.
cheese.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And number
Sorry.
5
Sorry.
was his
Cheese.
cracker.
Got it.
If I would have known crackers
Okay,
were on here,
can I
too,
please-
it would have
Crackers,
been
I
a
would have
whole
cleaned up if
different.
we were doing crackers.
I would like to trade my number 5 pick for
can.
the Pringles Cheesums.
What does that say, Anthony Ford?
A cheese cracker. Cheez-It is a brand of cheese cracker.
Well, why, when I would ask you, does it have to be a potato chip? You would say anything in the potato chip aisle.
That's right. And
So
crackers
that
are
is
in the
in the-
crackers and cookies aisle.
No, they're not. Go to the convenience store to see where you find the cheese.
So you're throwing a flag on the.
Throw a
post.
flag on that.
When you shop in a little grocery store like Pringer's,
So
you
let me
kinda-
ask you this.
Pretty sure it's a cracker.
For sure.
Well, I would have called it a cracker. That's why I was asking him.
Well, I mean, I also find peanuts
I
in that
definitely
aisle,
see
but
it,
I was going to bring a can of peanuts
Okay. All right.
in a bag.
Fair enough.
Am I right, D?
Hey,
I'm glad we had the cracker play. I mean, it gives us a little something to talk about. Garrison, you have any issues with cracker?
no, it's a good cracker, man.
Well, why is a Doritos not a potato chip? It's a corn flour tortilla.
We didn't say
So-
potato chip. We said chips, not cracker.
Well, it's a cracker chip.
I mean that nacho
cheese cracker.
cheese Doritos is squarely in the chip aisle. I don't know where you're saying that. I don't know.
All right, you guys
We'll
go
let him
fuck
go.
off.
We'll let him go.
I'm assuming if we did top 5 crackers, that might be the
No. Chicken and biscuit. Chicken and biscuit by far is number 1.
Wheat thins.
Oh, no.
All right.
You clearly have never had a
read,
chicken
read
and
us
biscuit.
back his list. What do we have for Tony?
Well,
Darren?
honestly, I had a little trouble keeping score, but I think we got the Cheez-Its at 5, the chili Fritos coming in at 4, the
Yep.
Pringles Original at 3,
Yep.
the Nacho Cheese Dorito at 2,
Correct.
and
Munchos.
and the Munchos number 1,
So
which
I'm-
I thought was a great call.
Do you guys remember
I don't
the
know.
70s Muncho commercial?
Oh, I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
I was asking me. Darren didn't remember it.
And when I think Munchos, the other chip that I always think about is the Bugle. If you remember the Bugles.
Oh, well, that's closer to a cracker than a chip.
He's just going to ride this
yeah.
hill. isn't
What
he?
I
He's
don't.
just-
What
He's all
is a
butthurt now. We're
Muncho?
going to get this all telecast.
You've never had a Muncho?
Never had a
You're
Muncho.
No, Tony.
Yes, you have.
honestly, I'll give you the Cheez-It. The Cheez-It is solid. I mean, it
Oh, that's a
probably is
solid
a
cracker.
chip aisle. So
To me, this always reminded me kind of like a Pringle almost. I mean, it was
But
like
it's a lot I'm normally not a salty guy.
Yeah, it is more
but
salty.
It is salty.
Yeah,
that's
I agree
about the
with
only
that.
thing that I like.
Totally agree with that. And
It's
I
a little
have,
over the top with the salt.
I have no issues
But-
with your list. I mean, from 4 down is solid. I think they're very, very
We've
good.
established that.
All right, in the 2-hole.
All right.
So I missed my opportunity, but it'll come up again. Go ahead, Darin.
So, as I said earlier, I'm a huge chip fan. It doesn't really matter to me if I have a sandwich, really what chip you have on the counter. Just love them. Like
So
eat
it's
them with
not
sandwiches.
cheese it.
But when you asked me what my 5 favorite was, it was a little tough for me because I kind of go out on business trips now, so I'll stop at a store and I'll pick up a bag just to eat, which I said earlier also is not what I usually do. I'm not just a snacker chip. But so some of these are ones I pick up to eat, and others are old classics. But coming in at number 5 for me is the nacho cheese bugle.
I don't know that I didn't know they made
It
flavored
is. You get
bugles.
a bag
Oh,
of
my
those
gosh.
with
Yeah.
with a soda in the car.
Have
They're
you ever
great.
seen a
Yeah.
nacho cheese?
They make like a
bugle?
caramel corn
Great
bugle.
Do they
texture.
really?
Out of
That
the
might be
taste.
regional then, because I don't
really good.
see
Yeah.
that.
Oh, so
I thought
good.
nacho cheese was the only flavor bugle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, they got regular and
Okay, so let me say
okay.
this, and you guys tell me if it's different up here in Missouri and Texas. I only see bugles in gas stations, Buc-ee's or whatever gas station.
yeah.
Not in a grocery store. Do you get them here in a grocery store?
yeah.
Really?
You can, yeah.
I don't remember seeing like big bags of
Yeah,
bugles
they're-
like you get.
Convenience stores, they're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Convenience
Missouri,
stores.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
In Missouri.
grocery
Not
stores.
grocery
When
stores.
you go to the
Maybe
chips aisle in the
like a
grocery
big
store, you don't
bag?
see bugles.
No.
Yeah, like the Munchos bag.
But for me, I wouldn't buy a big bag of them. I mean, for
Too
me,
much?
because I'm not a big snacking person. But I think if I have to just buy some chips that I like to eat, Bugle's nacho cheese is right
Okay.
there. Walking
like
in
that.
a gas station, needing
I wish I could
have.
have I'm a fan of bugles, but never had that flavored
Yeah.
one. So I'd like to at
We'll
some
have to
point
do
try
that
those.
before
Yeah.
you get out of here.
Yeah.
Try those
Have them in
caramel
Texas.
corn and those sweeter ones, man. They're
Okay.
fantastic.
So coming in at number 4 is the one with an assist, but I'm going plain Ruffles, French onion dip.
Okay.
I'm talking dairy French onion dip, cool out of the refrigerator with a Ruffle.
You're being specific with the dip.
Yes.
That's your dip of choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm fine with the ruffle, plain ruffle, because I think it's great too. But I agree with you; it has to have the accompaniment of a
Absolutely.
dip.
Coming in at number 3 is the Lay's Stacks. I don't care what flavor.
What'd you say they are, Gary?
I usually take the lid
Stacks
and just
taste
throw it in
like
the trash
stale
can.
Pringles.
Oh, Pringles are weak compared to the Stacks, and we'll line them up together.
So
here
you
later.
really like stacks?
I do.
What
I
you
do.
just
They're
said
they're a hearty.
is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
Well, that was a nice little commentary that you got there, Rob. But I think if the viewers would just put a Stacks next to a Pringle, it's a mismatch.
We got a little showdown coming here pretty
do.
soon.
We
You're
do.
you're very confident. You're
Wow.
going to convince us. You're going to flip us from Pringles fans to Stacks fans.
Well, I mean, as a kid, I didn't even like Pringles. My mom
Really?
would bring those home. It was just like, I mean, it's just a very weak chip, in my opinion.
Wow.
That's just my opinion.
Here's when you say weak, I'll give
Shocking.
you this. To me, the Pringle can't be dipped. It's not made for dipping. It doesn't hold up
Yeah,
for
because
dipping.
because it's
But
weak.
as far as just
Are you dipping the
You make my
stacks?
point. All right, can we move on?
What are
Yeah.
you dipping Pringles
Yeah,
in?
you
though?
don't want to stick. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. You
You
don't
don't.
need
You don't.
to.
You don't even want to drop one on the floor because it'll shatter.
so, are you telling me we need to dip the Stacks?
No, you just
set
take
the-
the lid off and throw
Yeah.
it away.
That's
Set
what
it-
you told me you do. I like that play.
Yeah, just throw it
give
away.
her a toss.
You're not going to need it anymore
Or you
because
can
you're going to eat them all.
set a Pringle out on the counter for a day or two. Then it turns into a
The
stack.
Stacks.
Oh my gosh, I cannot even believe you think that.
And that's at the 3. That's number 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 2 is the honey barbecue Frito twists.
That's
Yeah.
solid.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's right there
That's-
along lines with the chili cheese frito.
See, I'm going to say the only thing I would differ with you two guys on with the Frito play. I like both those chips and the flavors and everything, but they're an eat on their own. They're standalone for me. If I'm going to put them in chili, I'm going plain corn chip.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm thinking like just flavor and something you would grab a bag of.
With a sandwich, it's beautiful.
Just to eat sandwich or just driving in the car. It's a great chip. Then at number 1 are the Lay's Crunchers Jalapeno.
Lay's Cruncher Jalapeno. I don't know if I know
Is
this.
that like a kettle chip?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Kettle,
how I know.
Kettle,
That's how I know.
kettle
Okay.
jalapenos.
Okay.
I like those.
Yeah, I have.
I mean, I've had kettle jalapeno chips. I don't know that I've had the Lay's,
Yes.
specific Lay's.
I have no issues with your list other than Stacks is just a tough one to get by.
Wow.
But we're gonna.
Yeah, you might have got ripped a little harder than I did on the Cheez-It.
I meant to play that for my man. Tony.
Well, I mean, it's all.
if you slow on the button.
Okay, let me ask you this, guys. Is there a chip, instead of accompanying a sandwich, that you like on that sandwich? Is there a sandwich combination that you go, before
Peanut
I
butter and
slap,
jelly.
I think that's a whole new telecast.
Oh,
you
is that a
need to
new-
have,
new
is
podcast that we're gonna-
combinations?
Okay.
Robbie, I've known you
What
so
chip
long.
do you
You
eat with
started
what
me
sandwich?
doing that.
Yeah.
Now, I'll start this show with peanut butter and jelly and Lay's sour cream and onion.
Really?
Peanut butter and jelly
Right, so-
and either regular chips
Yeah, I'll throw another
or
one out there.
Doritos.
Pimento cheese,
cheese.
and Fritos.
He's got quite a few combinations here. I thought it might be a bit of a challenge, but it's not.
Gary?
Have you ever done that? What's the young generation do? Do you put chips on? Ever put chips on a sandwich?
I don't usually do, but if I do, it's probably just barbecue on some kind of bologna or
Really?
ham sandwich.
Okay.
But these are some pretty wild
Mine is
combinations.
there's a chip that's not on my top 5 or not on anything, and I haven't done this for a while. But back when I did crush some chips on a sandwich between 2 pieces of bread, it was peanut butter and jelly with the nacho cheese Doritos with a tall chocolate milk. That was
you
the
can't
combination.
hardly eat a PB&J without milk.
Milk, but when you have the nacho, the chocolate milk really made it work. So that
That's
was
an
one.
interesting
That's an
combination.
interesting one. All right, my list starting at number 5, and I know Tony's just setting up over there waiting for me to say something where he can get back at me a little bit. But I have no crackers on my list. I promise.
Good.
Number 5, the standard Pringle. I think accompanies a sandwich just fine.
You have one of those buttons to push over there?
Yeah, you want the one with "This guy's brilliant" or which one do
the
you
one
want?
that makes me dumber.
Makes you dumber?
Yeah, you talking makes me dumber.
Oh, you don't like Pringles? Does that hurt when you choose that? He just put his Stacks in his mouth.
Yeah.
Just one. Come on. Pringles, number 5 for me. I just think it's a solid chip. Goes with any sandwich. Just that classic potato chip. Doesn't no flavor, no nothing. But could go on a sandwich if you
I
so
don't know
chose.
that I'd say no flavor.
No, I think that no flavor.
Well, I'm talking about
I think that no flavor is perfect.
I'm talking about, sour cream or anything like that. I'm
Okay.
going straight just your classic potato
Gotcha.
chip with the Pringles. I'm a big fan of theirs. That's one that I could eat on its own. And like Darin says with the Stacks, just take the lid off and give her the Frisbee toss and off you go. Number 4 for me is one that hasn't been mentioned this brand at all, but it's a chip that I really enjoy with sandwiches particularly. It's the Garden Salsa Sun Chip.
Not a Sun Chip fan.
Really?
No.
Not at all?
I like all of them except garden salsa.
Really?
I can do the garden sauce.
I'm a big fan of the garden salsa. I think
Those
that's
are
a
the
solid chip.
The last touched bags in the variety pack.
Really?
Always the garden salsa.
But I am a fan of sun chips in general.
Me
but
too.
garden salsa is probably one of my favorites. I mean, the original's good. The
Nacho
the
or
cheddar.
yeah.
Yeah. But Tony, not a fan.
Not a fan.
I'm not a fan either. I always I like them. I'll eat them with a sandwich if that's what we got at the house. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, as I was saying earlier, but
I would never
I feel
pick
like they
that
came
out
on
of
the
it.
scene to try to be like a healthy healthy alternative type of thing, and just I don't know, they're just
They don't do it for
kind of
me.
grainy.
Really?
Yeah. You know,
The bag's annoying too.
I wanna-
It's made out of some
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know.
I want to feel
really
like I'm
crackly.
not eating something that's good for me if I'm eating a chip.
Yeah, if you're eating chips, you aren't trying to be healthy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good point. In the three hole for me, I've got the Ruffles sour cream and cheddar.
Good chip.
I'm a
Good
fan of
chip.
that.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like
You're good with me there?
I like that one
Okay.
a lot.
That one's in the 3-hole.
I like that.
In the 2-hole, your number 1 is my number 2, Darin. I absolutely love this chip. The Lay's, and it can be Lay's or Miss Vicks. There's a couple of brands that do those kettle jalapeno chips that
There's
are solid.
a regional one called Clancy's here.
Yeah.
Where they do that.
I'm
That-
just
just
not
that-
a kettle chip guy.
You're not a kettle chip guy?
They're okay. But
Well, I will tell you
Amazing.
this: kettle chips, I'm not a huge fan of. It's only the jalapeno that I like. That's the one. If I'm going to have a kettle chip, that's the one I want.
yeah, they just, I don't know.
I like them all.
They don't do it.
That's my favorite.
So number 1 for me, another one that hasn't been mentioned at all, and it kind of surprised me: the Cheetos Puffs. You're not a Puffs guy,
And
man. My list is just
if
not
I was like,
hitting with Tony.
if I was
He's got-
like 7 or 8, maybe. Do you give a
I like them.
Puffs?
I like the crunchy ones better.
I do
I-
too.
yeah.
I'm more of a Cheetos.
you're more of a
The
Cheez-Its.
Puffs.
I'll
than
do
a
the Puffs.
Cheetos
The- yeah, the
Puffs,
Cheez-Its.
but- Yeah, I'm a fan of the
Crunchy.
Puffs. I think Puffs are the classic.
That's coming in number 1.
number 1.
Wow.
Solid.
Shocking, man. Doesn't-
Shocking.
That's not exactly a chip, is it, Robbie?
It is. Do you disagree with it,
It's more
or
of a
do you
puff.
just are you calling it not a chip, or you just disagree with my list?
I mean, it to me, it's like going and
The
picking up a
geometry
piece of
doesn't-
styrofoam and throwing a little bit of cheese powder on it and shoving her down.
Like
It-
a cheese it.
no, there's some. Man, the
Cardboard, not styrofoam.
Oh, okay.
yes, the
Cardboard.
styrofoam just I don't know. They're okay, but I'd take a cheese it any day.
Okay, so honorable mentions. Does anybody have a couple, 1 or 2 or 3 that didn't make somebody's list?
So I've got one.
Well, let me start here first. Our lists, our 3, me, you, and Darin, Tony, completely different than this young guy's.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
I mean, we are in the arena of chips and flavors that have been around for quite a while. This pizza Pringles, I don't know that I've ever freaking seen that. And then jalapeno cheddar Cheetos, I've never tried.
Oh, you'll like those, Robbie. If you
Really?
like the jalapeno kettle,
Really?
you'll love those.
That's what I said about G's list. I'm going to expand my horizons. Now I've had those. No, not those.
Takis.
So one of my favorites
my
that I don't
honorable
even think you can
mentions.
buy anymore that almost made my list.
And I will
was
tell you that-
the Guy's Original Barbecue in that green bag. Do you remember those?
And then they had the green onion too.
Wait,
But
but
the Guy's Barbecue.
are you
man.
calling barbecue chips in general, or specifically
No,
the brand is
the
Guys?
You remember
Is
Guys?
that nationally?
I don't know.
Sold?
It may be just regionally.
Guys potato chips? You guys don't know Guys?
Never heard of it.
You're kidding. I
No.
thought Guys was national. Really?
No, never heard of it.
I think if I saw the bag, it's not. I'm not really ringing any bells.
Look on your
so
phone,
good.
see if you see something there.
Yeah, guys were big.
Do you remember the
Oh,
green
yeah,
bag?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't ever remember hearing
Shocking
Guys.
to me.
Been around since we were kids.
I thought it was made by, yeah.
We're looking at a
Forever.
picture.
I've never had those before.
You have a picture of it?
Those?
Yeah. It used to be a green bag, but that's the same bag. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Never
that's the
seen
same
them.
chip.
I have never seen them. What does it say on that bag? Let's read what it says.
Cheesy, thin, and crispy.
What else? Crackers.
Cheddar, sour cream. Those are the snap, though. Those aren't even the.
Those don't qualify.
No, those are good. I like them.
I'd almost put that more in the
I just
In the cheese
chip
puff
chip
category.
category.
Do we have an original Pringles in the house?
Yeah.
We are. I think we're going to do this little competition, don't we?
so
Just wanna look at
honorable
that.
mention.
I thought
Yes.
Gary was bringing Pringles.
I've got one that I think you guys may have considered, but I think it's the ultimate road trip chip for sure, but it's the potato skins.
Like
Man,
Fridays or something.
You are throwing
Fridays
some.
potato skins.
Is that
Those
a
are
gas
good.
station only purchase?
That's
They're
a
good,
probably.
vending machine, gas station.
Yeah. You've never had Fridays?
Shark
potato
style.
I've
skins?
seen them. I probably had them a long
Those are
time ago.
good.
I haven't had them in a while. I know what they are. It's just been a long time. But that was going to be a question I asked because there's certain chips or snacks you get at a gas station. Is there something that we didn't mention that is a gas station chip that you just
Well,
absolutely
how about
love?
like the cheddar fries?
Oh,
Or the
I forgot about
Or
those.
the
That guy like
Funyuns.
Andy Cap or the
Yeah, those were
very
great.
similar to a Cheeto
They
Puff.
still
Yeah.
have those?
You'll find
Very
those
similar
every
to a
once in
Cheeto
while.
Puffs with
Yeah.
some heat.
Go to
They
that
had some heat.
24-hour gas station at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
after
you'll
you had a
find
few
those
drinks.
babies around.
I forgot about the fries.
Yeah,
those
you gotta
hot
get
fries.
those, yeah.
You
That's
know,
a good one.
when we were growing up, Robbie was always the Funyun guy.
Funyuns used to be
I'm
mine.
surprised
remember
they
that,
have
Darin?
not been. I like Funyuns.
Yeah, I've went a long time without having them, and I don't know, a few months ago got a bag. And
They're
it was
not the same, are
Just
they?
not the same. For whatever reason, I'm
It's
sure
probably
my
because you
palate's
didn't have a
changed
big old
and-
cold soda with you while you were.
And I'll also say something that may not be popular, but I think Doritos are way overrated anymore. Not a huge fan of Doritos.
Just the nacho cheese.
Again, if they're
classic.
there when it's sandwich time, I'll have Doritos.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it, but I'm with you. I think they are.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy them. If somebody
it's
else
like
has
the
them,
only
that's all
one.
I
Like
can.
at the end of the night, after a night out or something, I come home, I'll grab a bag of those. and just
You
go to
prefer the
town.
nacho cheese original or the Cool Ranch?
No, nacho cheese, and second would be the taco Doritos. Do you remember the taco flavor?
Yeah, I do
Doritos?
remember those. Do they make those still?
Yeah,
You
do.
can still get them. They're
they still have the vintage looking
yeah,
bags.
the
that
vintage
they
looking
sell.
bag.
Oh,
when you
really?
buy 'em.
I think you guys may. Well, maybe I'm just not. I don't shop a lot of chips, but maybe I'm missing out. I need to look a little bit more in my chip aisle because I don't remember seeing these in my chip aisle.
Oh, the taco flavor Doritos are might be my favorite.
They're
Of the
good.
Dorito family.
Really good.
Okay, you got another. That's your honorable mention. You got another
Potato
one? G?
skins were my honorable mention. Well, and I have one more. It's the Takis Fuego, which is bit of a chip. It's a chip.
I
Spicy,
agree. I
yeah,
think it's a chip for sure.
but
Again, the guy's bringing the heat.
Well, I'm going to say Takis in general, I know have become a brand that a lot of young people really like, and I think it's more. It's known for being hot, right?
Is that
Yeah.
a tortilla rolled up like a Dorito
kinda what it
that's
looks
rolled
like.
up, but got some kick?
Yeah, these
But
have been popular. I think last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I've seen them really take off. I know the young people really like the Takis.
yeah, those are the chips when you're gonna feel it once you quit eating them.
Which way?
Or your mouth will
Oh,
be
okay.
on fire.
I thought maybe later in the night.
Yeah, that too.
Okay. Tony, you got an honorable mention?
Oh, I said mine earlier was the guy's barbecue.
That's it? Anything else?
Well, I said it earlier too, but apparently it's not a chip, so I'm going to refrain from saying it again.
Is it another flavor of Cheez-Its?
No.
What was it?
It was the chicken and biscuit.
What is a chicken
That
biscuit?
doesn't
Oh,
count.
you've
though.
never had that? We got to go get him a box.
He will devour.
Before
it.
you leave Missouri, you need a box of chicken
And
biscuits.
some cheese whiz.
You don't know what that is?
No, never heard of it.
We're going to go get that tonight. You got to try that.
Darren, you have one or two honorable
Well,
mentions?
I'm just going to give you a shout out because my honorable mention was going to be cheddar and sour cream ruffles, man. I thought you
Okay.
nailed that.
Yeah. I also had on there, I like the Pringles sour cream and onion.
Oh, I did too. The sour cream and onion and
Cheddar.
the cheeseums.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, I tried to pick one to put in my honorable mention.
I had to go
and
regular, but
I put regular in my list, but sour cream and onion was in consideration for being in my top 5 because I think it's just a solid chip. And I'm a fan. I mean, there's a lot of chips with that sour cream and onion flavor, but I think Pringles does it pretty well. And then you guys both mentioned the corn chip. I had the scoops because I'm a fan of the scoops when we start talking
with
about
bean dip.
Bean dips, a 7-layer dip.
Any
I'll
kind
still
of dip.
break them up, throw them in the
Yeah.
chili. I like them with
Yeah.
queso sometimes over a tostada,
They're a strong chip.
a very strong chip.
Kind of like the
I
Lay's
like
stacks.
the scoop.
And I'm a fan of the flavor of a corn chip. I can still eat those on their own and be perfectly happy. with that. And then I had the what did I have? I had the Ruffles you mentioned. I'm going to say this. Ruffles over Lay's for me every single time. I like the sturdiness
You're
of
talking
a
about
Ruffles.
the ribs and the ruffle, or the ribs and
Yeah,
the waves.
Lay's comes out with their wavy version, but they're trying to piggyback off Ruffles. Ruffles had always been the Ruffles, and Lay's were just very thin and crispy. They're trying to pick. I'll take Ruffles for my chip every time over Lay's, other than something that Lay's makes and Ruffles doesn't, i.e. the kettle jalapeno or something like that. But just standard potato chip. If I'm going to have sour cream and onion or sour cream and cheddar or just a plain chip that I'm going to dip with something, I'm going Ruffles, not Lay's.
But does Ruffles make the barbecue?
Yes.
chip? They did.
Sure. Yeah.
I like the barbecue chip. That's
Yeah.
pretty high on my list. I like Lay's barbecue.
Me too.
Sour cream and onion ruffles.
Guys, is
really
still the
good.
best.
And then Cheetos Crunchy.
Yes.
I think just the plain, I'm a Puffs guy. I like them both pretty much equally. So it really was tough for me. And you can see I crossed it out, took it out of my list because I had it in there and I was like, not going to put them both in there. I'm going to leave one as honorable mention.
Let me ask you this, Robbie.
Yeah.
How do you compare the cheese puffs to the Planters cheese balls?
I don't know that I've ever had the Planters cheese. Are you telling me you're
I
okay with the
think-
Planters cheese ball?
No, but I think you will never eat another cheese puff again.
Really?
You eat
Yeah.
a Planters cheese ball.
Okay.
They come in those cans.
Hey, Darin stepped away for a moment.
Okay.
I think we need to do we have a can of regular Pringles? I'd like to set up a little showdown here. Did we not get a can of regular Pringles?
He said
I've
he
got
got Pringles,
pizza.
but I
I've
didn't
got
know he
pizza
bought pizza
Pringles.
Pringles.
Pizza Pringles, okay. Because I would like to have that showdown with him. I don't think Stacks will even hold up.
We could take
but-
time out. The store's 5 minutes away.
Well, we may just take a quick time out. I don't know that we'll do that. But we're going to take a quick time out, get our thoughts together on our final thoughts on the chips category, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and what we did was we didn't have our standard Pringles, the plain, the original, but we all have experienced the Pringle enough, and Darin is now on board that the Pringle is better than the Stacks, and so we are happy that we can come back and share that with
no.
everyone. What?
No.
No? Still with the Stacks?
No, it's not even close.
I have to say that the Stacks was
I'd like to
better
ask
than I
the
was
viewers out
expecting.
there, do your own
But-
taste test. I mean, if you really, which one has the potato chip, strong spud taste? It's not Pringles.
Well, we aren't talking
It's
about
Stacks.
just potato
Just those
chips.
two. Those two are
'Cause
very
we're put-
comparable. So
Well, I just want to say, you don't find Pringles at the dollar store for $1, but you can find Stacks.
the only time I ever buy Pringles is because I know my wife likes them.
Okay.
It's the only reason I ever buy them.
Well, I want to talk about the chips we do have on the table because Garry brought a little bag of everything that was on his list except for the one that
The number one.
the New Orleans one. But I got to say, some of the chips that I've never had that you brought, I've never had, and the first one was that sea salt Poppables. That's a really good chip. Mm-hmm. I knew I liked the Poppables. I hadn't had them in probably a couple years. I forgot how good they are.
It's
Pretty
not
good chip.
it's not an overwhelming amount of sea salt in the chip either. That makes it a little easier to eat. It's not
Yeah.
as overwhelming.
Yeah, Gary didn't miss, in my opinion, but he brought the heat.
The only thing, he did bring the heat. The only thing I would say about that chip is I'd like a little bit more sea salt flavor. I felt like it wasn't as pronounced as I would like. When I think about getting sea salt,
Like a muncho. Get that salty taste.
on
Get
a
in
sea,
the
on a
face.
sea salt kettle chip, it's a little
Yeah,
bit more
yeah.
there. That vinegar's more there, and I didn't get that as much there. But other than that, I thought it was a solid chip. On the table, anything else that stood out to you guys that kind of surprised you a little bit? Nothing?
I like Gary's spicy sweet chili Doritos.
See, and I'm not going to say I didn't
them.
like them, but Doritos still has that Dorito. You can tell it's a Dorito.
That's
The
why
flavor-
it's so good.
See, I'm just not a huge fan of the Dorito. It didn't do it for me. Didn't mind that flavor
I
profile.
bet there's a
It's
lot
more
of your,
that
I
it's
bet
a
there's a
Dorito.
lot of your viewers out there that are going to disagree.
Oh, I
with
think
that.
there's probably.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's probably a bad take.
Right. If
But-
you ask my wife, I mean, she's a big Dorito fan.
Yeah, I think most people are. I think it's a classic. It's been around a long time. And the two flavors that have been around a long time are still very, very popular.
Yeah, once again, I'm not a big Cool Ranch Dorito guy.
Yeah, and it's very popular.
Really not. Taco. And
You know,
nacho
Rob, you
cheese.
had 20 chips named here between the four of us, giving 5 chips, and only one Dorito showed up, and it wasn't even the classics, right?
That's a good point.
Wow.
and one cracker.
And I'm glad you have come around. I'm glad you have. I will also say, Tony, his number one was the Munchos. And people who may not have had this chip, I've had it a long time ago. I absolutely forgot how good this was.
It's
light
amazing.
and crispy. You could eat that whole bag, no problem.
When you're driving with the soda, hit the road, baby. It's on.
Soda. You sound like a guy who likes soda.
As far as real potato chips go, Muncha, I agree. They're
They're
But it's-
good.
I don't know if that's a real potato chip, though,
Well,
is it?
Munchos or stacks?
It's
What do
more
you
like
go with there?
a Pringle cooked a different way or something.
yeah.
That's what it always reminded me of back in the day was another version, like poor man's version of a Pringle or something like that. But what I think that's a big bag. And what does it say? Did you actually get it for $2? It says
something
$2
like that.
or $2.69.
Yeah, probably
$2.69.
not. Probably $4.75.
Yeah,
or
probably
something.
more. That bag's probably from 1978.
No. It's fresh.
Do they still make these?
Oh, dude, all over the place.
It's been hoarding them.
It's really good chip. I forgot how good these were. I mean, I knew I liked them back in the day. I just actually forgot how much because, again, when we travel, we talked about, popping in the gas station,
Yeah.
getting a snack.
I'm the same way, Robbie. I just rediscovered them about 2 years ago. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, those are great.
And from what I remember, it hadn't changed. I don't
No,
see
it's the
anything
same
that's
chip.
changed.
It's like it disappeared for a while or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, pizza Pringles. My only fault would be I don't think it has enough pizza flavor. I'd like a little more flavor on those. Did you think it punched pretty good with the pizza flavor? Am I the only one that felt like it wasn't as...
I'm not at all in on the pizza flavored Pringle.
Not
Well-
sure I am either. That might be my only one with Gary. I mean,
Too much stuff.
A, I
going
don't
on
like
there.
Pringles. B, if I'm going to eat pizza, I'm probably going to get a pizza.
You're going to get a pizza. But what if you can't get a pie? You're at a convenience store. Did you like the flavor? To me, where I fell short was I didn't think the pizza flavor was enough there. It didn't punch like pizza. But maybe, am I missing that?
It might be that subtleness that you like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
I'm-
overpowering.
I'm
It's
not
got a
wanting
nice
anything
taste. It's not.
Too
I
overwhelming.
get where you're
Yeah.
where you're coming from.
And that's a good point. I might be asking for too much from the chip. And this
But
might be the...
It says right there on the can, bursting with flavor.
Oh, okay. Well,
You're kind
Apparently
of a,
not for you, though.
Rob. You know, you're kind of a balls to the walls kind of guy. That breakfast sandwich deal. We argued a little bit about. I
well,
get
just let everybody know you think the ranking of the egg McMuffin sandwich is properly ranked at number 1 in America.
I
think
just
he
like the
feels
cleanness
like-
of it. It's clean. It's a good tasting sandwich. I mean, you come
Hey,
at
if
me
you
with
look-
like
if you-
5, 6, 7 meats in the morning. I don't know.
If
It
you
just
listen
kind
to
of
that
bogs me down
episode,
for the day.
I said if you're trying to eat to be healthy, it's the sandwich you should get.
By looking
But
at
if you want something
You
with
did say
flavor,
that.
you don't get that one. You go with the fully loaded course sandwich, or you get the breakfast baconator from Wendy's. That's the way you go.
Just by looking at all of us sitting around the table, I can tell that we are not picky chip eaters.
Darin's worried about his egg McMuffin.
Yeah, I am.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that I don't like about chips in general as a golfer, you ever get in the
Greasy.
golf cart, eat the bag of chips, and then go out and try to swing your golf club?
You gotta take,
That's annoying, right?
use your left hand, and take your glove off.
Is that
Anyway,
the play?
that's off on a different tangent.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
not a
Or when
I'm
you're-
not a
but
chippy
that's-
snacky
that what-
guy. I'm a sandwich chip guy, as I mentioned earlier.
That's where the Cheez-It comes in when you're on the golf course. They don't make your hands all greasy.
Don't know that I've ever seen that in the clubhouse. Anybody? You ever seen that?
No, I don't know that I
they're
really
always there.
looked for it though.
Well-
when I'm wanting a bag of chips, I'm not.
But I would like to
Cheez-Its.
say,
You got Cheez-Its?
in my defense, really fast, my
I get some
wife,
weird
she
looks.
goes to Sam's and buys these giant boxes of chips, You know, you got the Cheetos, you got the Lay's, you got them all. And the Cheetos are all, or the Cheez-Its are always in that box. So that's why I thought, oh, you know.
Well, again, you made the comment about are you 7 with the cheese puffs? That might, when you buy an assortment pack with those little bitty chips, it's usually for a 6 or 7-year-old.
Well,
They may want crackers.
maybe.
Okay. I would say after tonight's what's on the table, Pringles have to be king. Because we've got cheddar, we've got sour cream and onion, we've got pizza flavored. I mean,
Except for everybody loving the Munchos. The
Seriously, are
rediscovering
we
of the
going to sit
Munchos.
here and say that Pringles are the king of chips?
well, I'm just looking at what's on the table. I mean,
Okay, all right.
let me ask you this. How many flavors are in the stacks? How many flavors? Do they have pizza?
Same as Pringles.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it really
I mean,
pretty similar?
Yeah, they pretty.
They
very-
have great flavors. Barbecue, sour cream. I mean, they're all good. Throw the cap away. I'm just saying, I don't mind Pringles. I'll eat Pringles with my sandwich.
You just said earlier you didn't
it's
like
just-
them since you were a kid.
I don't. They're not. They're
You'll eat it.
certainly not one of my favorites.
Just like Doritos. Not one of your favorites, but you'll eat it. Okay. Any final
But
thoughts
I
on
just
chips?
I just didn't want this episode to end with Pringles being the king of the chips. I'm not sure that's where we went tonight.
I would say Pringles is up there pretty high.
Showed up a lot. I'll give you
Does
that.
anybody have any crazy dips they'll do like with the chip? That
Okay, I'll tell you, with a Ruffles plain potato chip, I prefer to eat queso with that chip than a tostada. I like the play of queso, chili con queso, with a Ruffles
Solid.
plain potato chip.
I like the. I think I like the Lay's wavy ones more.
how about?
Really?
I think I'm there, but I like dipping that or scooping it in some baked beans.
Oh, baked
Or
beans
pork
are
and beans.
one of the
Or pork and
best
beans.
dips there are.
Is baked beans
Oh,
a
love
dip?
it with the chip.
No, it's not a dip.
no,
man.
no,
If you got
but
some
it's-
on your plate, on a picnic, on a summer day with a burger.
Well,
You don't
it's
have
really
a spoon.
the leftover baked beans out of the fridge.
You eat 'em
with
cold.
chips. Well,
You can do both.
I can do them cold,
All right.
but I like to warm
I got
them
another
up
one
and
for
chip
you.
dip.
Tuna salad.
With chips? No, that goes better with
That's
a cracker.
cracker.
Always a
Cracker.
cracker.
Well, I mean, now you're getting into a whole different
Yeah.
category because I would do like chicken salad or, egg
Okay.
salad on a chip with
Oh, yeah.
saltiness.
I mean, I
with
think
the
you can
egg.
do all of that.
What about regular potato chip with ketchup?
Well,
Oh, I'm
You
fine
ever
with
do
I'll give
that?
you that.
We used
I'll
to
give
do
you
that all the time.
Yeah.
You and I would
Yeah.
make
Do
a
you remember
sandwich
those
and-
Definitely.
those potato
No,
chips that
ever-
have those bubbles on them? You remember it? You know those Lay's original have those bubbles in them.
I don't
You used to
remember-
have
Oh,
like
I
at
kinda
school.
remember that.
You'd have that ketchup bottle, have that little pointy nozzle, and you'd fill those little bubbles up with ketchup. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Wait, Gary,
I'm
Gary,
grossing my son out.
are you okay with French fries and ketchup?
I know they're both potatoes, but
Have you ever tried it?
No, but
Oh,
I'm
it's
kind of
good.
scared I might like it. I
Yeah,
don't,
love
I think
it.
you might
It's
like
really
it
good.
too.
I don't know that I want to be seen
That's
doing
actually
that or
that's-
filling up a potato chip with ketchup.
That's a good call because I forgot about ketchup being so good with
Just,
the
I do. Also, I have those.
Well, Gary,
little-
I'd say if you find yourself in a place where you got a bag of plain potato chips and a bottle of ketchup in the fridge, you might give that a try.
I'll tell
Gives
you
it a little
something
zest.
All right.
It's good.
that I used to like. Probably going to gross everybody out, but regular potato chips with Miracle Whip.
with Miracle Whip.
Yeah, have you ever tried it?
I have, and it is not bad.
It's probably better than you think. I haven't eaten it for a long time, but
It might
I
be
used
better
to
than I would think.
I used to do that a little bit.
My first thought goes to I'd want to put a little hot sauce in there, mix that up, and maybe that would give me a little flavor that I would like. But I'm not sure.
It's pretty gross, really. Think about it.
When you said earlier, you said the Ruffles potato chip. Your favorite dip with that was what?
With the Ruffles, sour
Sour cream and onion.
cream and onion.
See, I'm a French onion guy more than sour cream and onion.
Oh well, yeah. But can you buy like a French onion dip?
French
like-
onion dip.
Okay.
Or at least we can. Again, I get
Sour-
into-
okay, sour
the
cream and
cold
onions are-
Prairie Farm or
French onion,
wherever
though?
you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about too. No?
I think they do make a sour cream and onion, but then they make a French onion, or at least in our.
What's the dip you always buy?
Yeah.
French onion. Yeah.
Oh, it is French.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a dumbass.
No, you're not. Well, Cheez-Its, but anyway. Nobody. I thought I'd get some kind of chuckle on that.
No, I'm laughing.
We were waiting for you to push a button, Robbie.
That's what she said.
Okay. Finishing up, any last thoughts on potato chips?
No.
American classic. I know that they have them in Great Britain called the crisp, not a chip. A chip over there is a French fry. Any other countries? You traveled to Italy recently? You see any chips over there?
You know, they have basically the same chips that we have. I'm
Do they
not
really?
sure they put a big spin on any of that. Yeah.
I was just wondering
So you can
if.
buy
But
Doritos.
honestly, I was more into higher end cuisine when I was in Italy than hunting for chips. I'm not sure I even shopped for chips.
I know in Canada they have like ketchup flavored chips, like Pringles and Lay's ketchup flavored.
That's
Sounds
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah.
Where do you guys stand as we're getting older and we're trying to be a little more health conscious on the baked chips? Fan, not a fan? Are you
Like-
playing the card that if I'm going to eat a chip, I'm eating a real chip?
Like I say, totally good with them. If I got a sandwich,
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter to me what. I mean, I'll eat just plain tortilla chips if that's what we have. But I just like to have a chaser with my sandwich.
Or a
so
cracker.
certainly baked chips are fine with me.
I eat, if I'm going to be honest, what I eat more on a regular basis is a baked version of a chip just because it's less calories and everything for me. And I am a fan still in that Cheeto category. I think Cheetos, like Pringles, their portfolio of chips are awesome. And I'm a big fan of the baked Cheetos, crunchy. And I also like the white cheddar. I don't know if you've ever
Very
had the
good.
white cheddar.
Hey, Robbie, will you do me a favor before
Yeah.
you drive home?
Yeah.
Will you buy a can of Planters cheese balls?
But I also
And
want
tell
something
me-
called a chicken and biscuit or something.
Oh, and that too.
It's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking you will trade your number one
You think
after that.
the Cheeto Puffs are going to be trumped by the Planters cheese balls?
Darin, have you ever had a Planters cheese ball? They're way more cheesy.
They are
man.
good.
Way more
Would you take them over a Puffs from Cheetos?
Well, I mean, probably neither one of them would be my number one choice, but I
Gary.
would probably take.
I'm with them there.
I'd probably take the cheese balls.
Planters cheese balls?
Yes.
Let me ask you this, Gary. Planters cheese balls or the fire fries? Hot fries.
Fire fries are good. I forgot about
I
those.
forgot all
Makes me want to go
about
buy a
those.
bag of them
Make-
right now.
and that to me also is in that gas station category.
Isn't it like
That's-
Andy Cap?
Yeah,
the guy?
Andy Cap.
Yeah.
And that's where you see those in the gas station, right? That's where I remember always
we
seeing
got
those.
into those on Tuesday once we got home from $2 Tuesdays.
There's also
The ball.
cheddar. There's also cheddar.
Oh, there's
flavor,
different
which is really
flavors now. But the hot ones, man, how can you not
Yeah.
do the classic hot?
Pretty good one. Boys, I had a good time talking
good.
potato chips.
Thanks for having us, Rob.
Yeah.
Who would you say's list came out number one? Do we have a consensus?
Well, I
or-
will say, as bad as my number 5 pick was, I think I kind of rallied with my number 1 pick. I think you were impressed. I think
Yeah, I do.
everybody liked it.
I think that's a great point. I think you really did rally with that number one pick.
Okay.
Something I thought about, but I just was like, hadn't had it for so long. I
You
remember-
really thought about it?
Oh, I did. That and the Bugle. I mentioned Bugle to you
Yeah.
the other day because I thought that might
I thought
be
that
yours.
was going to be.
Those were
I
the
would
two.
give Tony the call of the night on the Munchos.
Yeah.
I mean, out of nowhere, out of left field, and kind of reintroduced to all of us.
Was-
They're awesome.
Yeah, really good chip. If you haven't had these or you haven't had them in a long time, definitely worth
Salty
revisiting.
goodness.
Salty goodness.
Light, crispy, salty.
Would you have them with a sody?
Oh.
That'd be
Come on,
good.
Robbie.
Well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. And until our next episode, enjoy your next pour.